This podcast is a member of the Place to Be Nation family. Visit us at placetobenation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Welcome to another episode of You Don't Know Billy Jack, a podcast series where we watch some of the greatest wrestling matches of all time through the eyes of a non-wrestling fan. I think that's how it goes. I forgot my notebook. Was that good?
Yeah, that was it.
My name is Drew, and my eyes. Where are my eyes?
Oh, I'm right here. I'm Jordan.
This is Jordan, and we are coming to you tonight, not from the comfort of our own home, but once again from the body dump.
That's right.
And Jordan, would you like to tell the folks at home what the body dump is, or rather how it got its name? So it's a practice space that we have for music purposes.
Yeah, this would be I think they classify this as a light industrial space / office suites. And, I mean, you probably know more details, but apparently there was some sort of cold storage across the unit across the way that moved bodies in and out, like overflow,
Yes,
like funeral home overflow, basically, right?
Yeah, for Santa Barbara County.
Oh.
That's exactly what it was. And the way we found out about that was another band that used to own or practice in this space were coming home late one night from a gig and saw someone unloading bodies from a minivan on gurneys and putting them in, storage. And someone that was with them thought it was like the mob or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And called the police. And
I would.
So you are a cop caller.
Yeah, I'd have to be in that instance, yeah.
Not a shot caller.
I'm not a shot caller.
So the police contacted our mutual friend John, and
right.
the person who I guess is on the lease for this space. A detective contacted him the next day and was trying to pressure him into like coming over there and talking to them. And so I had to drive around with John trying to tell, or like he was asking me what he should do, or if he should like ignore the detectives or whoever. So I think he went to like the police station and talked to them.
Yeah.
But
it got cleared up.
It's
this body dump.
Yeah, it's some level of illegitimate business, I guess. But it's something to do with like Santa Barbara County, or like a place in like a funeral home.
Santa Barbara would do that.
They would do that. Yeah,
they'd put that right in Ventura.
They dump their bodies in Ventura. That's how it goes. Anyways, side note. So anyways, that might be. We're in the body dump, so the audio quality might be a little bit different tonight.
Yeah, it's also the actual body dump aside. It's kind of would you describe it as kind of a post-apocalyptic atmosphere out there?
Yes.
There's like burned up cars and all manner of seedy element kind of just racketeering this whole little lot. It's one of those horseshoe-shaped kind of lots where all these offices face each other, and there's really only the one legitimate business, right? The plumber.
Yeah.
There's nobody else in here probably should be here.
Probably not.
So
us included, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. I mean, definitely.
Yeah. But here we are. Nevertheless, here we are. So we've been getting good feedback on the show, which is good to hear. We're going to start adding a couple things to the show. I do want to let everyone know beforehand, before we get started, as part of our intro, that the premise of the show, just to reset a little bit, I'm a longtime wrestling fan, and my friend Jordan here is not a wrestling fan at all. Would you agree?
I would agree.
And so the purpose of this show is to watch. I've kind of cobbled together a list of matches that have some kind of reputation and some kind of circle, be that an internet fan group or company promotion or anywhere in between, some kind of reputation as being the single best match of all time. So I've cobbled together this list, and Jordan and I are going to watch through them chronologically, and I just want to hear Jordan's responses to these matches with not much wrestling experience at all, right?
Right. I mean, I was actually, it's funny, I ran into Chach the other day, and I told him about the show, and he's like, so what do you think? Like, do you like wrestling now? And I'm like, well, no. But that's not the point, though.
That's not the
right?
point. Yeah, no, I don't want you to understand it or like it.
Yeah, it's like I'm doing this for science.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're trying to see if there's any sort of transcendent elements, right? That kind of can come across to Joe Dummy, which would be me in this case, who really has no clue what's going on here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that way, but he just laughs.
Yeah. Where'd you see him?
At the thrift store.
Oh, very good. I haven't seen him. I talk to him every now and then, but I haven't seen him in a long time.
He says hello.
Good boy. Is he going to ask Vanessa out on a date?
No, I think he has a girlfriend.
Yeah, been together for a while, right?
And and they were going to Amsterdam. So
okay,
they're getting pretty serious, I'd say.
No kidding, they are.
Yeah.
And you of course lived in Amsterdam.
Yeah, so he was actually.
You spent 6 months there one night, didn't you?
You're so tough. Yeah, it's British Las Vegas.
British Las Vegas? That's where all the Brits
go? That's what they call the red light district.
Huh. Is there a White Castle there?
Gnarly. No.
Because we have that in Las Vegas, USA.
In the real Las Vegas?
Yeah.
No, I loved Amsterdam. It was a very, very nice place. So I was just chopping it up with him, and this came up, because he was asking about you, and so he knew you were a wrestling freak, and he didn't know you did this kind of thing, so...
Well, there you go. So anyways, what's our match tonight?
You've got a really weird opening screen here. It looks like this guy's in this fallout shelter, and it does not look like it's an American operation.
No, so the match we're watching tonight is, of course, Jumbo Tsuruta versus Genichiro Tenryu from 6/5, 1989. Very famous match. This is our first foray into All Japan Pro Wrestling, I believe. We watched a match from New Japan Pro Wrestling. This will be All Japan Pro Wrestling. So this is, at the time, the other major Japanese promotion.
Okay.
So, like I said, this is a very famous match. Do you have any questions before we get started here?
I'm not going to be able to remember the power rankings, I don't think.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so I forgot my notebook, so we're going to wing it a little bit. I think I can... I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
This is a little bit of an improvised episode, but that's all right. Yeah, so we'll try.
Okay.
We'll try to get there.
Just as long as you have a little grace for me there, because
sure.
A lot of this stuff is over my head, and you're gonna have to remind me of a few things, probably.
Okay.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Place to Be Nations, JT Rosero and Chad Campbell here. We want to let you know that we have over 24 podcasts available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and PlaceToBeNation.com. We now offer them to you on two great feeds. On the Place to Be Nation Wrestling feed, we dive into topics running the gamut from today's WWE to the glory days of yesteryear and the ins and outs of the territory days. In addition to our full-length shows, we also deliver to you special pod blasts on topics old and new.
The Place to Be Nation Pop feed is a veritable treasure trove of great content. Offer tremendous shows covering the land of movies, television, life, comics, and sports, brought to you by the most knowledgeable and insightful folks in the podcast world.
You can find all of these current shows, plus archives of our previous podcasts over the past 8 years as well, by subscribing to our feeds on iTunes. And while there, be sure to rate and leave feedback as well. All of these shows, plus others available at PlaceToBeNation.com, where we cover pro wrestling, sports, movies, comics, plus in-depth stretch projects and more. Be sure to support our site by using www.PlaceToBeNation.com/Amazon while doing your online shopping. And be sure to join us at our forum at Bigelow34.proboards.com, PlayStation.com for all sorts of wrestling, sports, and pop culture discussion each and every day where you can make your voice heard. We also want to thank our friends at Bonehead's Wing Bar, ProWrestlingOnly.com, and TheHistoryOfWrestling.com. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr as well. PlayStation.com, the only place to be in your pop culture world.
Of course, what we will be doing is we will be watching this match. We're going to be listening for Jordan's responses, and we'll kind of talk throughout the match. After the match is over, I've got a series of questions that I'll ask him.
Don't. No.
Based on the famous questionnaire, of course, by Bernard Prouveau. And then we will rank the matches after that that we've watched so far. So, another thing we're going to be doing is we're going to give people the opportunity to watch along with us. Some of these matches are going to be tough because they're not on like the WWE Network, for instance. So, what I'm going to be doing is, like with these, I can't necessarily give away where I got these matches from either. So, I'm just going to say, I'm going to do a count-in, and I'll just describe what the picture is that we're looking at, and I'll do a 3, 2, 1, so you can kind of find at least close.
And would people maybe be able to contact you privately if they wanted to?
Yeah, I mean, I think most people that would listen to this probably can
get there.
Use a computer and type it in, but
you never know.
But you never know. So yeah, I mean,
judging by some of the people that watch this stuff.
Now, what is that supposed to mean, Jordan?
I'm just saying the crowds we've observed so far. I don't know. Anything. This could be a wide spectrum of people that we're talking to right now.
Okay.
I don't know your audience.
Well, that's very offensive, and I don't feel that way at all.
Yeah, let it be known that was expressly my view and not Drew's.
Okay. Well, here we go. Ready?
So yeah.
So I'm going to do 3, 2, 1, play. Ready? A 1 and a 2 and a 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1, play. So, what we have here, that is Jumbo Tsuruta right there.
Okay.
You see, he's coming. He was like coming out from backstage.
Got it.
And that's an All Japan staple. Is they'll film the people, the wrestlers coming out of the backstage area or the locker room area.
Okay.
So first impressions here of All Japan, very busy, right? Mm-hmm. Very crowded. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you hear the music that's playing?
Yeah.
I love that song.
What is it?
It's just his theme music. It's just,
okay.
So it's not like a song.
And then the streamers and bouquets are still very much there.
Yeah.
But this is a different promotion.
Right, yeah. And so that's Genichiro Tenryu.
Okay.
That's the opponent. And so this is a title match, the Triple Crown title match here.
Okay. Man, that jacket that he's wearing would really sell for a lot of money at like an Urban Outfitters type place now. Did you see it with the script across?
The Revolution?
Yeah, that's pretty neat looking.
Yeah, that is. I saw they have gear, T-shirts and stuff.
Oh, okay.
That you can still buy.
That's cool.
Yeah, but not that style jacket. That would be the track jacket.
Yeah, the
with
track
Revolution
jacket.
on it. Yeah, that would be cool.
Okay, so he's submitting the belts.
The belts, yeah. It's the Triple Crown. It's 3 different belts that they've merged into one.
Okay, and I'm sorry, who was that's holding the title?
So Jumbo right now, Jumbo Tsuruta. So a little bit of background on this match. So that's Tenryu.
Got it.
He's the younger of the two. He's more the up and comer. Jumbo he's like the company guy, the top of the company, handpicked by the owner, Giant Baba, way back in the 70s.
Giant Baba.
So he's a company guy, and like the top guy in the promotion. Tenryu.
So is he like a Ric Flair type?
Yeah. So Tenryu, on the other hand, he's the younger guy. He started after.
Dude.
There you go, Stan Hansen.
Dude, was that him?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
What a psychopath.
The best of the best.
That was a cool little quick shot.
Yeah. So there he is, sitting in a chair outside. And so Tenryu is, like I said, he's a younger guy. They used to be teammates.
Okay.
Tenryu kind of turned on him and started his own faction, the Revolution faction.
Okay.
So you have kind of a battle of like ideologies here.
Got it.
The company man versus the
rebel. Or,
yeah.
Tenryu, is that how you say it?
Yes.
He seemed to get a good deal of cheering when they announced him.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
They both did.
They both did.
So I wasn't really clear on the heel.
Yes, it's a little different in Japan oftentimes.
Okay.
Where both they're more just both competitors who have a lot of times, especially in the 80s, you'll have fans of both guys.
Okay.
And I shouldn't say especially in the 80s. That exists, all throughout the history today as well.
Okay.
But Jumbo, he's the champ. He got big cheers, but Tenryu did too. I mean, they
kind of went for him.
Yeah, he had his fair share of fans as well. And so the match has just now started. Any early thoughts?
No, I'm. It seems to be off and running, but I mean, it doesn't seem any different than a lot of the last few we've seen.
Okay, yeah.
They're big though, right?
Yes.
Physically.
Yes, big guys.
Yeah,
I mean, Jumbo is a big guy.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah,
I mean,
and Tenryu's big too.
Yeah. You can feel it even with really no scale.
Yeah.
I mean, they just look like pretty massive.
Yeah, and that's something that All Japan, they always and to this day, their heavyweight guys are like legitimately big guys,
Giants.
Yeah, which is cool because that's not the case. I mean, wrestling as a whole, like the guys are smaller now.
Huh.
But and obviously like a lot of the Japanese stars were on the smaller side, but yeah, I mean the All Japan guys, they're always and we'll see some in the 90s as well.
Yeah,
they're big, like they're sizable guys. So we've got a headlock.
Yeah, he's trying to like choke him out, right?
Yeah. So Jumbo working a headlock chokehold type of deal on Tenryu here. Did you notice the big suplex, the big throw that Tenryu had?
Yeah.
At the beginning.
And a lot of it's very physical. I mean, like they're smacking each other around a pretty good deal.
Yeah. And so these two they've had a feud for a few years now.
At this point.
Yeah. Like I said, they used to be tag team partners. They split up. Tenryu kind of turned on him, formed his own group, and so this is they've really been going back and forth. Lots of tag matches.
Okay.
And so this is I want to say the third singles match between the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is for that Triple Crown.
The Triple Crown, yeah.
It's kind of interesting that they're both wearing like they're pretty nondescript.
Yeah.
Like they both just have the black shorts.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Trunks or whatever.
Tenryu has yellow boots and but that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess not. It's not like everything else we've watched has been really flashy, but I mean, it's like when you look at this shot, it's like really hard to distinguish.
Right.
It's two big guys with black trunks.
Yeah. Yeah, and that
feels a little more like professional, I think.
Yeah.
Like they're wrestlers.
Yeah.
It's not like they're acting as much.
Well, and this is a pretty stark contrast to, say, the Macho Man
Definitely.
versus Ricky Steamboat that
Yeah,
we saw,
yeah.
or even Ric
Like,
Flair
yeah, exactly.
versus
yeah.
Ricky Steamboat. Yeah, so that's again one of the common lines about Japanese pro wrestling is, oh, they treat it more seriously. They treat it like a sport.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like a
because I
sport
mean, when
over
they
there.
came out, it was very much like a boxing match.
Yeah.
Like you said, they lead you from the locker room, and the guy's just really stoic, and he's wearing the track jacket, and he kind of just comes out, and then they just start going on each other.
Yeah.
I love all the streamers everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just makes it feel really like chaotic. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like
it's a really, really cool element.
yeah.
And there's times like Stan Hansen, for instance, like he'll ambush someone when did you see
Yeah.
that big move? So Tenryu jumps over the rope, does a big shoulder tackle off the turnbuckle or
Yeah,
off the side of the mat onto the floor
Yeah, it
onto
looked
jumbo.
pretty reckless.
Yeah.
But it was also weird because the angle, like, it's like they weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you, like, so how much of the choreography or however they're running a match, like, at this point, is the camera work also involved? Like, because WWF or E or whatever it is now, I imagine they're, like, pretty dialed. Like, when the cameras are going to
yeah.
look at in a certain...
Yeah, for the most part, they have their mistakes.
Yeah. But
Every now
I
and then,
imagine
but-
there's more or less like a script at this
Yeah.
point, right?
Yeah, they try to at least.
But like, for instance, that was a pretty gnarly move.
yeah,
But it was like this far away,
far away, like static
back-
shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's at this point, it's again not much as far as I know. That's my caveat, but as far as I know, not much is known by the production crew.
Okay.
Maybe no, even All Japan in the 80s, even like the finish of the match, for instance, I think the production crew, they obviously have a good gauge on what's happening and
Sure,
good
yeah.
good instincts, where they wouldn't necessarily miss like the pinfall of the match or
Right.
whatever. But yeah, outside of that, they just have to go on kind of instincts. And actually, All Japan does something really cool, which is they'll do a lot of static shots sometimes that end up feeling pretty cinematic in the sense that it'll just be maybe like a hard camera shot so sorry to interrupt, but you see things have kind of escalated here.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
real harsh work here.
Yeah, they're really the moves are all really aggressive.
Yeah. Hard hitting.
Yeah. However, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like they're definitely not phoning in the kicks and the like slaps and the hits.
Yeah, so that stiff is the term.
Okay.
But anyway, so they'll do these pretty cool static shots from a like a single cam where a lot of action will happen and they'll just stay on it for a little
That's
while.
kinda cool.
Yeah, it kind of feels cinematic, like I said, like, those long takes and movies.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. So to go way back with the streamers, they had a really cool element. Stan Hansen, like I said, he'll ambush someone as the streamers are in the ring or
That's
something.
So sick.
Someone's running around with streamers on them, and
Yeah.
it's a very, very neat thing.
He is gnarly,
Stan Hansen,
and I don't know like anything about him.
yeah. Except that you gave me an autographed picture.
Yeah, I mean, is he alive still?
Yeah, and doing there he is, another shot of him, and doing very well. Like he got out early enough
Yeah.
and stayed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good and doesn't really have much involvement. He'll show up in Japan every now and then for a kind
They
of.
love him over there, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, legitimately the top 2 or 3 gaijin or foreigners ever. In Japan.
Crazy.
Yeah, like a legitimate legend.
Are there any other foreigners that I would have like heard of that are in the top tier?
Terry Funk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Terry Funk and his brother Dory Funk.
Okay. So they made it bigger over there because, again, I'm not like that familiar with those guys.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, Terry Funk, he wrestled everywhere in the United States and made good money
And
everywhere.
You said he had a pretty storied career.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And continues to in some capacities. So he was, some level of importance virtually everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, to get back to this match, I don't know if I've been talking too much, but what are you feeling right now about the match? Like,
I feel like it's a lot more physical.
mm-hmm.
The atmosphere with, I think, everything, but like the announcing and again the intros and how they're even going now, it feels more like professional boxing.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like they're calling this thing, the announcers. Yes. I don't know what they're saying, but I mean they've been going this entire time. Whereas I don't remember that for the last Japanese match we watched, but maybe I wasn't hearing it or whatever. But the crowd has been pretty excitable, and again, like you said, what did you say? What did you mean by stiff?
That's the term, like the insider term for like a hard punch, or
okay.
If a submission hold is put on or some kind of hold, it's like tight.
That's what it like looks like it's been this whole time.
Yeah.
They haven't really phoned in the hits and kicks and
and so you see Stan Hansen.
Yeah. So what's like his stake in this?
So he's Tenryu's tag team partner at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so he's part of the revolutionary.
Loosely, yeah, not like an official member, I think, but he would be on that side.
Okay.
Yeah. And like he had feuded with Jumbo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're playing into the stories and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he just clotheslined.
Yeah, big clothesline. Tenryu had a big clothesline on Jumbo there. And like you can feel that.
Yeah, I mean the thing is really shaking and.
Yeah.
I feel like they're also at the same time being a bit more theatrical than the last Japanese match we watched. It feels like they're trying to sell it.
Yeah.
Too, but man, I mean they just look like they're kind of striking each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and they are playing to the crowd more.
Yeah, I saw him raising his hands to the crowd.
Yeah, and like at the beginning, Tenryu, I don't know if you noticed, but he kind of did a hair pull, and Jumbo would kind of motion to the crowd. Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
Like it's a bigger performance.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
but they're going harder though.
Right.
So it's weird like that.
Yeah, yeah. And the building they're in, I believe that building is Budokan.
Oh, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That Cheap Trick record is so good.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
That's crazy, like you don't need anything else from them.
No.
Like that'll do you.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like that'd be cool to be in a band like that.
Yeah.
Like where it's like you have this incredible like transcendent live record, and
and that's
cool. I mean, like
yeah, that is really cool. That's like Kiss, alive.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it all sucks, of course.
Right.
But like you don't need any other Kiss record.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need any, of course, but
Kiss really sucks.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
The big clothesline.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kiss and the Rolling Stones. Like, the two worst bands of all time.
Brutal.
Yeah. In relation to how popular they are and, like, revered, you know?
Oh my gosh.
Like, terrible. All around.
Yeah, I was looking up some other band, and it was like how many records they sold or whatever, but they were still well behind. Like, Kiss had just sold so many records.
Yeah.
They just sold records, you
Yeah.
know? It's like they got in there at the right time with the right gimmick.
Yeah. Yeah. And they hustle.
Yeah.
Like, they know how to work. So something like, have you noticed the pace quickening at all here?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
But the energy has been like pretty consistent here.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't feel like outside of a couple, like when he jumped the guy like from outside from the edge of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
They like lagged for a bit, but that looked a little more legitimate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, they feel like they've been kind of just back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And we'll talk about that. So if you notice, there's a lot more pinning attempts now.
Definitely. It feels like the crowd can feel it too, because I feel like they've risen a bit in this last maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, and that's a little bit more in keeping in the style of like the Japanese crowds and the Japanese wrestling shows as a whole. The idea of starting slow and building
to a finality,
to like a crescendo.
Yeah.
Like, remember we talked about like a WWF, they would do like the peaks and valleys,
Right.
and they would do that with the matches as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Here it's more like a gradual escalation, and All Japan especially.
Yeah, you can feel that.
Yeah.
What are they chanting?
Tenryu, I believe. And so now
They're
you're
there, like they're there,
yeah. And so it's a little quiet maybe, but you can hear like the crowd they're there.
Definitely. So like what's the where are they now on these two?
So Jumbo died. It was, he had to retire in '92. It was like hepatitis or something, and so as a result, like Hep C, and so as a result of that, he needed a kidney transplant, and he was having it was during the transplant surgery. He died from complications.
Ugh.
Yeah. But he was living in Oregon, teaching at like Oregon State or one of the colleges.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then Tenryu is still around. He doesn't wrestle anymore, but he actually just retired, like a couple years ago.
Okay.
And he was like really good in his 50s. You know, like that
Weird.
Nick Bockwinkel we saw.
Yeah.
Same
How
thing.
some of these guys could just like defy age.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, like he was great. But he still makes appearances and stuff. I had a chance to meet him when I was in Japan, and
You didn't pick the glass out of his back or whatever.
No, I did not. I wish. I could have gone to like a meet and greet with him. I didn't want to stand in line for a long time. I was tired. I probably should have done it.
Yeah.
But, oh well. So sorry to distract you now. Like, you can see the
They're
moves.
kind of at the punch drunk
Yeah.
level.
The moves are getting bigger.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. They're kind of like doing a trade-off.
Yeah.
One guy will just jack the other guy, and then they'll kind of stagger up, and then the other guy will have his time.
Yeah.
But Jumbo's kind of been going pretty strong.
So, did you get the feeling, or did you notice that there's a lot of back and forth to this match rather than like the extended sequence of one guy?
Yeah, I
beating
feel
up the other guy.
I feel like that's exactly what it's been.
Yeah.
It's been a bit back and forth, and it seems like they're cheering a little less for Jumbo at this point.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem that way at the beginning necessarily.
Yeah. And you can see whenever there's a pin, everyone's standing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So let's see here. Okay, so we're still going.
Yeah, they're into it. They're just into it.
So this is something. Do you remember that the Randy Savage match that we watched had a lot of the pinning attempts?
Yeah.
Do you see? And this is 2 years after that now, but do you see a difference?
I mean, that's a good question.
I mean, it's very different, but
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's felt to me like this has been a pretty sheer back and forth, and there's been tension in every move they've done.
yeah,
Like, they're kind of striking each other pretty hard.
yes,
For each one.
yes,
And it's not like, okay, now I roll over on you, and then you do it, now you roll over on me. It's like the guy will whammy the other guy, and then repeat on the other. Like he just picked him up and threw him down like a rag doll.
yeah. And so Tenryu's on the top ropes now. Oh, missed a big elbow. Yeah, so I think something you will notice is kind of the hard-fought transitions and counters.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something you've picked up on or not, but that's something. As we're getting closer to the end of the match, I feel okay saying that.
But yeah, definitely.
You see all the people
Yes.
right there, the photographers, but there's a lot of like
Yes.
what look to be kind of stagehand type people. So those are the younger wrestlers,
Huh.
and that's part of like their learning.
Crazy.
Is that they're like
they just get
ring
to be there
attendants.
and, okay.
Yeah, so they clear out the streamers and they make sure everything's going okay.
But they're like part of this promotion.
Yeah.
Like they wrestle in these matches.
Yes. Yeah. And so there's also they'll be in each other in the respective corners. And then also who like maybe their teammates or something will come out like Stan Hansen's doing like that's not unusual.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you hear the screaming?
Yes.
Yeah. And so that was his finishing move. Generally, is that power bomb.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the guy's saying he only counted 2.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man, is he gonna get this? Oh. And so that was it.
That was it. That's it.
Dude, Stan.
The lariat.
He's insane.
He's like very soft spoken and like kind.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't want to take away from the moment here, but there was an interview that I saw with him with Stan Hansen. It was a sit down conversation between him and a Japanese wrestler.
Sorry, so the Jumbo,
sorry.
or they tried to, they wouldn't shake hands?
Right.
And is that, what, is it traditional that you go try to shake the guy's hand, or
No,
not necessarily?
not necessarily.
Hello, everyone. Drew here, just breaking in from the show to give everyone an update on what's been going on the Place to Be Nation. So, on the pop feed, the Sarcastic Four continue their look at 1971 with the third of their three-part episode of the Marvel Age. Jennifer Smith welcomes Tim Capel to the Freak Out Drive-In with a live watch of Lake Placid, a Betty White classic, of course. The Heart-Traveling Fanboys conclude Spider-Man month with an examination of the classic story Kraven's Last Hunt. DC For You dive into the monthly current events, including announcements from Comic-Con. Pop goes to the movies when Andy and Jennifer break down Spider-Man Far From Home, and then look at the future of the MCU. Jason and Andy pay tribute to the rock and alternative albums of 1994 in a special edition pod. I'll be interested to hear that. I wonder what all they cover. I guess your Lollapalooza classics there. Of course, my favorite album of 1994. That would be Spilling Blood Without Reason by Voorhees, of course. Finally, Andy Atherton rides solo on the latest Pop Goes to the Movies with a review of the new Lion King remake, which I saw a preview for, and I don't fully understand what it is. I don't think they are getting animals to act. It doesn't quite look like a cartoon. So I don't know. I don't know if it's something along the lines of what they used to do when they would have animals in commercials and CGI their mouths moving. Speaking of an animal, I've got Nutmeg the cat here with me. Nutmeg, say hello. We'll go over the greatest song of the 80s tournament brackets together. Nutmeg? Well, she's not talking right now. Anyways, all right, Nut. We're going to look at the matchups for today, today being the show, the day the show drops. So, let's go over these, Nutmeg. Come here. Oh boy. Okay. First matchup, we've got Tesla with Love Song versus Peter Gabriel, In Your Eyes. I love both of these. Peter Gabriel. That's what I'm going with. Of course, from Say Anything. There you go. There you go, Nutmeg. Yeah. Great song. Great album, too. Off of So, I believe. And that was the big solo record from Peter Gabriel that introduced a lot of his world music influences. Oh boy, okay. Next we've got Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car by Billy Ocean, going against Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. Now this is a no contest as to what song's going to win. Sweet Child of Mine is going to win. And in a move that may get me banned from the Place to Be Nation, I will let everyone know that Sweet Child of Mine is one of my top 10 least favorite songs of all time. Just a terrible, terrible song. Stupid guitar lick, that dumb tap solo thing, whatever Slash is doing. Terrible vocals, as always, from Axl Rose. Just what a complete piece of garbage. Yeah, see, Nutmeg agrees with me, too. Just so annoying. Terrible tune. Oh, and continuing with terrible tunes, we've got the next matchup here. We've got Janie's Got a Gun by Aerosmith, also unlistenable. Aerosmith, I believe, has. I mean, I could make an entire top 10 list of least favorite Aerosmith songs that could be, all timers. Jaded, and I mean the Armageddon song is kind of a cop out. So. Yeah, those are just two terrible tracks. In a band that is filled with terrible tracks, Aerosmith. But they are going against Panama by Van Halen. So, of course, the choice there is Panama. Next, we've got, here we go. Stepping Out by Joe Jackson versus Higher Love by Steve Winwood. Higher Love. Got to be Higher Love. I love that. That's one of those good examples of just 80s guys who really know how to play and trying to fit their all their talent into a pop formatted song. I love that. That's something you see all throughout the 80s, which is like, I mean, especially with a lot of the UK prog guys, and even, Rush, of course, starting with Signals through, I mean, well, really moving pictures, I guess, but it was really, really apparent on Signals through Hold Your Fire. So Hold Your Fire, you'll have like a song like Time Stands Still, where it's this really cheesy, like 80s song, but then in the middle there's this kind of gnarly prog break. And then, I mean, Peter Gabriel, another great example of that. Phil Collins, of course. I mean, that's the ultimate example. But, Steve Winwood, again, kind of falls into that same category to a slightly lesser degree. But Higher Love, what a great song. All right, next we've got Smooth Operator by Sade versus La Isla Bonita by Madonna. Smooth Operator. Yeah, Madonna's going to do plenty well in this tournament. So I'm going to go with Smooth Operator. Ooh, next we've got, okay, boy oh boy, ending out the day with the brackets. We've got, oh man, this is kind of a brutal matchup. I Know What Boys Like by the Waitresses versus Mickey by Tony Basil. This kind of seems like a rib of a matchup here. Man, and kind of the battle of annoying 80s one-offs. Oh, man. Mickey. I'll go Mickey. Why not? If for no other reason, because it gave us the Weird Al tune, Hey Ricky. So, that's your greatest song of the 80s bracket matchups. For me, now, of course, what you want to do there, you go over to the Facebook page or the Twitter page, and you can weigh in there and cast your votes. And in case you're new to the greatest song of the 80s tournament, there's 6 polls a day posted for round 1. We're still in round 1, almost to the end of it now, but it's been a long tournament, but it's a lot of fun. So, yeah, you can go get on the Facebook page. They're posted on the Twitter page as well. Anyways, getting back to the PTBN Wrestling feed, we've got Ben Zanny welcoming indie wrestler Jaden Newman to row 1, seat 1. No Holds Barred is back. The long-awaited return of No Holds Barred. Aaron and JT return with a look at the GWWE pay-per-view TV match contest. So, of course, that's the greatest WWE pay-per-view or TV match ever. And they actually do a lot of good, interesting discussions, specifically on a match that I think is really interesting to discuss. That would be Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan from WrestleMania 3. In the latest episode of the PTB podcast, JT, Scott, and John D'Amato break down Survivor Series from 1989. Don't miss the pilot episode of a new ECW-focused podcast entitled PTBN Extreme 3-Way Dance, where hosts JT Rosero, Jennifer Smith, and John D'Amato review the concept of the show and what is to come. On PlaceToBeNation.com, PTBN's tribute to 1994 is off and running with a brand new piece on Woodstock 1994, as well as a piece where JT looks back at Bob Backlund challenging Bret Hart for the WWF title on Superstars. And also something to mention, Glenn Butler's weekly Wednesday walk around the internet, where he posts all the greatest news and notes from the internet for the week. Check out our social media pages and message board at bigelow34.proboards.com for information on joining our GWWE pay-per-view and TV match ever project. And get in on the conversation today and start researching your list. Thank you very much, everyone. And now back to the show.
And so that was the match. Stan Hansen was sitting down doing there's this other wrestler that we'll see later on named Kenta Kobashi. He's a younger guy, like a generation or so, several actually below Stan Hansen or younger. And so he was retiring a few years ago, and Stan Hansen did a sit-down interview with him, or a conversation with him, and they filmed it through a translator. And he says, Stan Hansen is talking, in like this very like pleasant, nice voice, like, oh, you were such a good wrestler and you fought so hard, and I really tried to hurt you guys really bad so you couldn't take my spot, but you kept fighting, and I really respect that.
Dude.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And he did. Like he would like beat them up like real good.
That's what you were saying.
Yeah. So anyways, that's the match. We'll get right into the questions. General thoughts?
Kind of interesting. I mean, I liked that it didn't feel. I don't know if I could pick up on like history with them as much as maybe some of the other ones.
Yeah.
But like it felt like a match.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like
a legitimate sporting contest.
Yeah, and that there was a match up between these two kind of Goliath-esque figures that were just going. So I mean, that was pretty neat.
Yeah.
And so I think it didn't feel phoned in like ever. Mm-hmm. And that's impressive.
Yeah.
For however long that was. What was that? Like 25 minutes or whatever?
Yeah, 20, 25 minutes, somewhere around there.
I mean, that was pure energy.
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole time. And, yeah, I mean, that's... The impression is that it was just really physical, and you get the sense that there wasn't... I got the sense that there wasn't, like... It didn't feel like there was an underdog. Mm-hmm. It felt like two, like, alpha dogs, like, going at it.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. I mean, I kind of could have used maybe a little more gimmick of some kind.
Uh-huh. Did it feel like a little dry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the kind of professionalism of it might have been a part of that. But, I mean, it was impressive, and it wasn't dull.
Right.
It was... They just went full throttle on each other, and it was an exchange of blows, like, the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a side question. Was I talking too much? Like, did you feel distracted?
No.
Okay.
I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
No.
So sometimes I'm not sure if I talk too much.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, especially for the purposes of what we're doing.
Right, yeah.
A lot of this needs to be drawn out because I'm not going to understand.
Yeah. But, like, you're able to focus enough.
Yeah, I would think so, yeah.
Okay. So, we kind of entered it. Were you able to get a sense of the story they were telling in the ring?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little... was I right in the fact that it felt like it was more... two guys at the top of something that were, like, slugging it out?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the sense I got.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like there was, like, boo, this guy.
Right, yeah. No, certainly not, yeah. Were you able to get a sense of the hierarchy?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, but I wonder how much of that's because you could tell the one guy was younger.
Right, yeah.
You could see it in his face.
Yeah.
Like, so I think naturally you're gonna like be tuned into the fact that it's a kind of a dethroning. Yeah. The guy comes out, he's got 1,000 belts that he's holding up or whatever, and then there's this young guy, and so I mean, that's intuitive enough. Yeah.
Can you see why this match would be considered to be one of the greatest of all time?
What was the match we watched last?
That would have been Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat, the 2 out of 3 falls match.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that... yeah, I think so. I think that the sheer intensity of it and the hardness of it...
Uh-huh.
matched with the back and the constant volleying.
Yeah. On
these pretty in my view, kind of gnarly moves.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really compare that to anything we've seen so far.
Okay.
You know, like
Yeah.
that style.
Yeah.
I mean, we had that cage match for the submission
Yeah.
one, which
Uh-huh.
was like, that was the ultimate like gnarliness, but this was like a clean professional version of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Where
Okay.
it was like a blow by blow, like just exchange, and each guy was kind of throwing it in there.
Yeah.
And then just going on each other.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: did you get like? Have we talked about the term selling before?
A little bit.
I don't want to like give you too much to go on.
Yeah. No, we have a little bit.
But like when someone will hurt their arm,
Yeah, and they
it's like
just-
they
yeah.
oh, did you get any kind of sense of like a lack of that in this match? Or did that register to you at all as
Yeah.
something like, oh, that doesn't really make sense? Like, why is he acting like he's not hurt or something?
Well, I did note that earlier. I think it was Jumbo was trying to sell like he had been in a chokehold.
Uh-huh.
So he was doing this like.
So that would have been Tenryu, because remember,
Oh,
Jumbo had the headlock on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he came out and he was working it and selling his neck and his shoulder.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah.
But I didn't really see a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
But that was conscious enough to be on my radar.
Like, is that something that like you did it?
I like when they sell.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Did it occur to you that they're not doing that, or like did you feel like they should have in this match at any point?
I mean,
or not really.
That's like you articulating that makes me want to answer. I think that they should have.
Okay.
I don't know that I would have like articulated it like that, but it would have done favors to like the intensity that they were going with, because they went hard
Yeah.
the whole time, but especially like that last, quarter of the match, they were constantly dropping each other,
Mm-hmm.
and they were going off the ropes pretty hard. So yeah, I mean, you saying that, it's like, yeah, I feel like maybe some selling would have I probably would have enjoyed it more with that.
Did you not get a sense of that from like them like hitting a move and then kind of being exhausted like that, or
That was more like the sense that I got. Yeah, I mean that was there, but I guess since like maybe they weren't. Is it called like working a part of the body when like
Yeah.
oh my elbow is hurt, and so the other guy works on it,
They'll
right?
do a
Like
pu-
so
yeah,
he'll
yeah.
do stuff to it or whatever.
yeah?
So like the lack of that,
Okay.
because by the end it was like the exhaustion. Yeah, that was good. That was good selling, I guess, because I mean it made sense.
Yeah.
But like, you didn't get a feeling as much that they were hurt.
Like hurt and in danger
Yeah,
or
like
something.
it
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
like they've been like going with such intensity
Yeah.
that like physical exhaustion at that point makes sense. But like
Yeah.
you almost didn't really feel that they were hurting.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the point or not, but like
Yeah. I mean, it could. It depends on the match and depends on the story. So
like the cage match, it felt like they were exhausted, but they were also like hurting.
right. Yeah.
And they were really pushing on each other's wounds.
Yeah.
And so that made it more not believable, but it was more captivating
Yeah. Okay.
to me. This just like it had the elements of like a professional boxing match,
Mm-hmm.
but and that was kind of interesting, but there's something that it kind of lacked for me to. I can't at this level of my education, I can't really like articulate
Yeah.
what that would be.
That's fine. Yeah.
But it didn't have that. It didn't have either way. Like it wasn't ridiculous
Right.
and absurd.
Mm-hmm.
Like you actually needed those shots of Stan Hansen in there for me.
Okay, to
like
add like a surreal
me,
element
exactly.
to it. Yeah.
Like give me a little more fantasy here. So they flash to a guy, he's not wearing a shirt, but he has a leather vest and a cowboy hat on and a mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that kind of supplements the world.
Like Mr. Baseball.
Yeah, just like Mr. Baseball. It kind of like, I don't know, you kind of need that. And because I know it's not professional boxing or, something like that. So
it kind of falls in like a middle ground for you?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was like the presentation was really clean and professional.
Yeah.
Which I admire that and can respect it, like as a sports fan and that, but it wasn't, and it's more like a respect for their physicality, and the guys are big guys.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is impressive, but again, I can't really put my finger on it beyond that. It wasn't the most interesting.
Yeah.
For me, for that.
So, let me ask you this: do you think you would appreciate something more that had a step or two more professional and legitimate presentation, more than that? Let's say, because here's what I'm getting at. There is a style of pro wrestling. It's called shoot style. Mm-hmm. And it's essentially where MMA came from, like where UFC came from, or
sure.
I mean MMA,
Yeah.
So it's professional wrestling, but it's like simulated real like grappling matches with grappling and strikes, real hard strikes. Do you think that is something that would appeal to you? At least conceptually, more than this, or would that still essentially be in a middle ground?
I would probably hold that higher, like conceptually.
Yeah,
but I'd rather watch this.
Right. Yeah.
But like that, I think that'd be more pure for like where this was at. Mm-hmm. But I want to go the other way.
Yeah. Okay.
In my limited viewing experience, like I need a little more surrealism or something absurd in there.
Yeah.
And so far, I think that's why that cage match is really holding a lot for me, because it seemed to kind of be a good cocktail of all of that.
Yeah.
Because it was very athletic and professional in that way, but it was so absurd,
right,
that you kind of had to watch it.
Yeah. So this match, the reputation for this match, there's a few different things here. So that was more or less the first kind of match in that style. There have been threads of it throughout that promotion for a long time, but in terms of the pace that they worked at and the really big feeling back and forth finish, where you had a big move and a pinning attempt and a big kick out that no one expected,
Yeah.
And so that hadn't really been done before, at least in that high level. And you had that as kind of a culmination of a feud where you had Tenryu working to try to beat Jumbo before, and them a big storytelling element to that match. And I didn't want to tell you that, obviously, is like they know each other so well because they were partners, and then they fought each other for years at this point. So it's like that's a lot of that back and forth. Is because they know each other so well, and they're able to counter and
their moves and their style. And,
yeah. And so this was something pretty big at the time. Like this was kind of a whole new thing. And what this match essentially starts the style that All Japan would carry on through the rest, or through like 2000. Where, and we'll see some of those matches coming up, but it's really based on match to match growth and learning from your mistakes and learning from your opponent and carrying those elements into the next match, and this escalation where things continue to build upon each other, you know. And again, that really fast-paced, really hard-hitting, a lot of big moves.
Right.
So, pretty important match in that regard, and that's a lot of the reason why people feel so strongly about this one. Combined with the fact that you have not only those athletic traits, but you have something that's also pretty personal as well. It's kind of a blood feud.
Yeah, I mean this wasn't really like anything we've seen on these other matches.
Right, yeah, and I mean, you shouldn't feel that way, because it's, kind of a new thing.
Right.
Okay, so now we'll do our ranking. This will be a little tough, again, because I don't have my my notebook. But, so we've seen Sangre Chicana MS1, New Japan Gauntlet, Magnum versus Tully, Nick Bockwinkel versus Kurt Hennig, the 60-minute draw, Ricky Steamboat versus Randy Savage, and Ricky Steamboat versus Ric Flair, the 2 out of 3 falls match. Where, just in your loose, just kind of off the top of your head, where would you fit this match in there?
It'd probably be somewhere in the middle, above the other Japan match.
Okay. So
I'd probably rank that right above.
Okay. So right now you've got...
I know my lowest would be... my ranking up was the MS. That the one Ricky Steamboat.
Okay, you had that one... I thought you put that below.
Or was that... Yeah,
it was below.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So that one and then MS. So Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage, right?
Yes.
And then MS. And then was it the New Japan?
Then it was New Japan.
So then I would probably put this.
This right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it was Bockwinkel, Hennig. Then it was
the other Steamboat.
The Steamboat match. So that's number 2 for you.
Yeah.
Then this, or then the Magnum Tully.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, Magnum Tully number 1. I would say, I don't remember. Flair versus Steamboat number 2 for me. Sangre Chicana MS1. Probably. I don't know. That's tough between the Sangre Chicana one and this match. Then New Japan Gauntlet, Bockwinkel Hennig.
Steamboat.
Then
Steamboat
Savage, and then I'm missing 1. 2. But I can't I can't think of it. Magnum versus Tully, Flair versus Steamboat, this match, MS, New Japan Gauntlet, Hennig versus Bockwinkel, Savage versus Steamboat. Yeah, I don't know, I had listed them all that.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, that's it. Jordan, what color are your wife's eyes?
I don't want to do any of that personal.
For the folks at home?
No, thank you.
Yeah, what, any plugs for you then?
No, thank you.
I don't have any either.
Well, where could people maybe find you?
Oh, okay, on Twitter you mean?
Yeah, where could people find you on Twitter then?
@_burning spirits. And that's it. Thank you very much, Jordan. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
All right, thank you. Bye.